So firstly, would the vanity that appears in my dreams be the bearer of the archetype or the exemplar of my ideal?
That depends, of course, in what way one distinguishes, between the archetype and the ideal. Obviously, that distinction is one that occurs to one, after one wakes up. So, is there anything in the dream that lends itself to interpretation either way at the time? Does one experience that particular content in the dream state in terms of its being either an archetype, or an ideal? Because one here comes up against the question of what one actually experiences and the interpretation to which you subject it afterwards.
I thought you said that you would be exemplar of an ideal.
Because once you've woken up, you can make, in a sense, of the dream anything that you wish. It isn't that the dream is this or isn't that, or its meaning is this or isn't that. It isn't really quite like that. The dream, it would seem, is much more fluid. So if you want to make it an archetype, you can. If you want to make it an ideal, you can. It depends on you, what use you make of your dream. And perhaps it's better to make use of it as an ideal than simply as an archetype. But perhaps it isn't quite appropriate to describe that particular content of your dream as being, literally an archetype or literally an ideal, as though it was or has to be objectively, just that, just one or the other. It's entirely up to you. It depends on what your waking consciousness does with your own dream. You can, if you like, explain it all away as a result of indigestion. But that might be a pity. It might mean sort of throwing away a perfectly good and useful dream. Well, there are clearly different levels of dream experiences. Some of the dreams you have a clear result of experiences you had during the day or during the previous few days, or the result of some physical disturbance. But as all that, as it were, clears away, dreams seem to start to come from deeper levels of the psyche, sometimes from very deep levels. Then you have sort of archetypal dreams, vividly, coloured and full of significance, which can even be of some spiritual value. So it does seem that dreams are very much on different levels. So what was the second one?
The second part was, when you appear, should I ask you for a teaching?
Well, again, it depends on you. If you have succeeded in retaining, some kind of consciousness, some kind of awareness in the dream, it's up to you to make the best possible use, of that opportunity, if it is an opportunity. There's no harm, one might say, in asking a question, but one could take the view that the dream was, after all, your dream. So not only would the question be your question, the answer, would be your answer. Unless, of course, you, in a manner of speaking, broke out of the dream in the strict sense altogether, and were in contact with some other level, so to speak.
And you suggested that's quite a very unusual thing to happen, to break into that level.
I think it's relatively unusual.
And if you did do it, you'd know that you'd done it.
Oh yes, but you'd have to be, in the first place, quite aware, in the dream state, aware that you were dreaming.
But beyond that, I assume that it would be easy for you to know that what you were hearing was a result of you breaking through the dream state.
It would no doubt carry us a certain conviction. Yeah. And thirdly, what was
that was the third point, really. The fourth point was how how one should best take advantage of lucid dreams.
You see, in the lucid dream, you can direct your experience. And the temptation is to create for yourself a dream which is merely pleasurable. If you can, you should create a dream which is definitely inspiring. Perhaps try to create a dream of a Buddha realm, or of Sukhavati, or something of that sort. You're quite able to do that in the dream state if you are conscious and aware, and therefore able to direct the dream and determine the nature of your own dream experience. This sometimes does happen. And then what was the last one?
When I do ask you for a teaching, why do you like the name?
Well, I would have thought the answer to that was quite obvious, that somehow you got into contact with the St. Jerome archetype. You should listen carefully and try to see exactly what kind of Latin it is.
I don't speak Latin.
So that raises, of course, the question of how you know it's Latin. And not to say Pali or even Italian.
I hope I might know different Pali.
But you should listen carefully and try to remember and bring back into consciousness the waking state at least a few words. There's that famous dream by William James. I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again, because some of you may not have heard about it. But William James had a dream in which the whole mystery of existence, the whole secret of life, was revealed to him. So he sort of sat up in a half-awake state and scribbled it down. So when he woke up finally, he read what he'd written, and it went like this. See if I can remember it properly. Oh dear. Make sure I get it the right way round, otherwise the story spoils in the telling, as it were. Higamus hogamus. A woman is monogamous. Hogamus higamus, man is polygamous. This is a perfectly true story. It was a cruel disappointment to William James. So if you could, bring, up from your dream, some sort of scrap of Latin, it might be quite illuminating, quite revealing.